What is up, everyone? Today we're showcasing a really good team which doesn't contain any XL Pokemon or Legendaries, so pretty cheapish for the Ultra League remix. I ran this team for like 8 or 9 sets myself, gained 150 points, which brought me up all the way up the expert ranking and the number 160 spot on the global leaderboards. So yeah, I really did enjoy this team. Worked amazing for me, honestly way better than I was expecting, but it truly is quite a strong team. The team is Tangrowth, Typhlosion and Crobat. Tangrowth running Vine Whip, Power Whip, and Rock Slide. Just a really good, solid grass Pokemon with coverage against like flying types like Mandibuzz with the Rock Slide, and also can still hit like Ninetales very hard with Rock Slide as well. In general, I think the Rock-Grass combination is just very strong in this meta. You're gonna see Tangrowth do some work in this video. Then we're running Typhlosion with Shadow Claw, Blast Burn, and Solar Beam. Shadow Claw is very important here. Shadow Claw Typhlosion is just an amazing save swap. You've probably seen it in earlier videos as well. Can just do work, especially against like Jellicents and stuff, which can lose to Shadow Claw Typhlosion, but they definitely do wall like Incinerate and Typhlosion. And then we have Shadow Crobat in the back. This doesn't have to be Shadow. You can run a regular Crobat as well. It would work just fine. I personally do prefer the Shadow though, but the regular can definitely work out. And it's running Air Slash, Poison Fang. That's important. No cross poison, please. Poison Fang and Shadow Ball. And this thing is just really, really nice for all the Charmers, for other grasses like Venusaur. And Shadow Ball is just really nice coverage against things like Bronzong, which we're gonna take out now, or like a Jellicent and stuff. Now, now we're gonna see one of the most difficult leads for this team. Alolan Ninetales. Of course, we are kind of weak to ice. We're really weak to ice actually with Tangrowth and Crobat. But luckily we do have a Typhlosion in the middle to counter the ice types, which I decided to switch into the Ninetales, which normally wouldn't be the best play, but I was hoping to catch a Weather Ball. And the thing is, if I can build up some energy with Tangrowth later, I can still Rock Slide it. So it's really not the worst. You can Rock Slide it with Tangrowth, and you can Poison Fang it with Crobat, which would also do nice damage. But in general, it is quite tough. Bringing Mandibuzz though into my Typhlosion, which is interesting because that's still a good. Yeah, I mean, what did I have in the back then? Like, I am not sure. Usually, like a Ninetales is paired with like a Politoed or something. So at this point, I'm really not sure. But I'm just gonna give up Switch advantage. You know, taking Switch has no point. I rather just take energy with Crobat here, or Tangrowth. I mean, I can get 2 Vine Whips, which is quite nice. And the important thing is I can still survive a Weather Ball here, especially after a nerf. This doesn't do that much damage anymore. I'm still really unsure what could be in the back at this point. Could really be anything, but I'm really hoping Crobat is good against it. It's probably not a Stunfisk, because people do like to switch their Stunfisk into my Shadow Claw Typhlosion. Can I get to another Rock Slide here? I do. And well, I think they have a lot of energy here, and if they shield this, I am in big trouble actually. I'm in big trouble with the no-shielded. And the no-shield there makes a lot of sense, because since I lead Tangrowth, they're probably not expecting another Ninetales answer in the back. So there you go, they bring in Scrafty and that point's over, because Crobat can take it. Alright, Pidgeot Lead. This is really bad for me. This is really, really bad. It beats both Tangrowth and Typhlosion, and well, it doesn't do bad against Crobat as well. I think actually it beats Crobat if you get the baits right with Pidgeot. But it still has some play. If you see the lead though, it's awful. It's awful. Don't expect to win these matches. I've definitely won a couple Pidgeot leads with this squad. But I've lost more than I've won. In the back, they are kind of fine, because you can Rock Slide them and you can Blast Burn them. And unfortunately, they decide to double shoot their Pidgeot, which is just even worse. They're 2 shoots down now, which generally is not that great of a play. But in this case, they made a really good decision, because I'm in a very tough spot right now. I'm no shooting all the Feather Dances, but like I'm basically two Pokemon down, and I'm just gonna hope that Crobat can deal with whatever's in the back, but it's likely a Stunfisk, right? A lot of the time, Pidgeot does get paired with a Stunfisk, or if it's Machamp, I'm actually kind of fine. I might be fine, but like this Shadow Ball will not knock out the Deoxys, because the Deoxys is really, really tanky, and Shadow Ball is of course not stab. And even with the Shadow bonus, Crobat's attack is still not that high. It's actually a very, very tanky Pokemon. Alright, I'm gonna let this Tangrowth go. I'm just gonna save a shield. If it's Machamp, I might still have a shot here. This is gonna be hard though. They Psycho Boost, farm it down. Please be Machamp. Please be Machamp. Please be Machamp. It's a Stunfisk, so we give up. It's game over right there, GG's. Alright, another Scrafty Lead. I saw lots of these, and these are very, very annoying actually. These are very, very annoying. Especially, which I saw a couple times, Scrafty Leads with Stunfisk in the back. Normally, I would think this lead is actually not that bad, because I just take both shields, or no, one shield here. I just let everything go. Tangrowth actually wins the zeros here. Unless they pop first. Sometimes they pop first, which I think is actually the play of your Scrafty, but like people don't know Tangrowth. They just foul play first, and then they pop, and then I'm fine. Then I get the 2 power-ups here, take a shield or take switch, and I'm okay. However, if they have a Stunfisk in the back, I'm kind of screwed, because I lost switch advantage, and well, Typhlosion doesn't do amazing versus Stunfisk as well. I know shoot the foul play right there. I would really consider shooting that. I think that's definitely a play, because it does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage to Crobat. But yeah, sometimes there's Stunfisk in the back, which doesn't make any sense to me, because, well, they're incredibly weak to a fighter lead like Machamp. But, I don't know, I think people just don't care. Machamp is not that common, so it kind of makes sense. I bring Typhlosion here, though. Nidoqueen is also not that great, especially with the health my Crobat is at, and they shield my Shadow Ball as well, which is pretty awful. At this point, the Blast Burn is basically in knockout range, though, which they tried to catch on their Jellicent, but I saw it coming. Well, I didn't see it coming, but I didn't throw my Blast Burn just yet because I knew they weren't at a move, and I'm gonna be able to Solar Beam this Jellicent to death, and now we should be in a pretty good spot, because I think a Blast Burn will knock out this Nidoqueen, and I will be able to get there before they get to another Poison Fang. And it should be a good game, right? Yes! Blast Burn right here. Goodbye, Nidoqueen. Very nice. Very, very nice. Alright, next game. Galvantula Lead is not great, especially since we lag for 1 turn at the start of this match, which means we won't get an extra Vine Whip through right there, so we're already like one move behind. But we weren't gonna outpace anyway, and because I was 1 move behind, I've thrown alignment right here. If you've watched my previous videos, I always say never throw an alignment, because they're gonna get a Volt Switch through. But this time I decided to risk it. Well, luckily I denied their Volt Switch. They're in red now, and I don't really want to waste this energy. They're energy dry, and I can definitely kill them in enough, or in 6 Shadow Claws, like before they get to the move. And even if they switch out, my Crobat will also be able to farm it down before they get to the move, most likely. So I don't want to waste that Rock Slide energy. It's gonna go in Typhlosion. They bring in Jelly. Bubble Jelly is actually pretty bad for Typhlosion. Hex Jelly is kind of fine, but at least I burn a shield right here. Gonna let Typhlosion go at this point. It's done its job. Gonna come in Tangrowth. Throw the energy ball. At this point, I'm kind of scared of a Stunfisk, though. I'm really scared of a Stunfisk, but if it's Stunfisk, you know, I just lose. I just gotta hope. It's something in the back that Crobat can deal with. They bring in Escavalier right here, which Crobat can definitely deal with. I throw a Rock Slide first, though, because if I throw a Rock Slide, I'll be able to farm down this Escavalier and just get to the Shadow Ball versus Jelly. Keep in mind, though, the still have the Galvantula in the back, which will do a lot of damage with Volt Switches. I think they're only gonna get 2 Volt Switches off, and I think I kill him in 3 Air Slashes, which means I kill him before they get to the Discharge, which is nice, so I can farm him down. But either way, I do get enough energy here to where I can Poison Fang plus Shadow Ball. And I know the Jellicent only needs 1 Shadow Ball to knock out, doesn't need any more moves. So if the Galv comes in, I'm just gonna throw the Poison Fang just to be safe, and I should still be at the Shadow Ball to knock out the Jellicent. That's 1 Pokemon down, go for the Shadow Ball. And this will likely knock out the Jellicent right there, and it's a nice Crobat sweep for y'all. GG right there. Alright, Nidoqueen Lead is quite awful. I bring in Crobat right here. What I do there always varies. Sometimes I'll go Typhlosion, sometimes I'll go Crobat. Honestly, I would recommend going Crobat, even though Crobat is not the regular safe swap in this line. Most of the time with Nidoqueen Lead, there is no hard Crobat answer in the back, because they usually don't run Stunfisk in the back, because that'd be very weak against like a Politoed. So I would suggest you switch Crobat, because they can't really stay in long or do a bunch of damage, and then hopefully you can burn shields with Crobat, and then Tangrowth and Typhlosion can deal with Nidoqueen once shields are down. But you really want to get those shields down, which is what I'm doing right here. Get 1 shield of the Umbreon, which is running Psychic, by the way. This is the only Psychic Umbreon I've ever seen. And of course it's on my Crobat. But that's okay. This puts me in range where I can farm down with a Typhlosion. Normally I wouldn't recommend giving away your third Pokemon so soon, but I'm gonna need a big energy advantage if I want to beat that Nidoqueen. And well, Shadow Claw, I get off more Shadow Claws with Typhlosion than I get Vine with Tangrowth, so this just gave me a lot bigger energy advantage. Bringing Scrafty though, this is the classic double dark line, which is just really bad for me. This is a power punch, I'm gonna let it go. But I'm in a bad spot. I'm in a really bad spot. The Nidoqueen definitely just destroys my Tangrowth. Of course, super effective potion jabs versus neutral grass moves. It's not great. My Typhlosion doesn't have any health. I can't switch now anymore. So yeah, this is not looking good. Nidoqueen Lead, definitely a tough one for this team, especially with the double dark backline. I think those are most of the time just losses, though. I have beaten a couple of them, but your opponent kind of has to misplay. Alright, bring in Typhlosion again. I think I'm just gonna let this go, because this definitely game over. Yeah, GG to my opponent right there. Alright, next game, we have another Nidoqueen Lead. Alright, I bring in Typhlosion right here. Again, I think you should bring in Crobat, to be honest. But that isn't something I realized until later on. Or, let's say Typhlosion, no, Crobat into this one. Because, well, like I said in the previous match, this is not a great matchup. This is really not a great matchup. And if you grow Crobat, they usually don't have a good answer in the back. So you can burn shields and kill Nidoqueen later. But this is also fine. They overpower me. I die. I have shield advantage. You know, this is okay. They bring in Giratina versus my Crobat, which is not amazing. Giratina is pretty tough for this team as well. But I have Shadow Ball on this thing. Since they brought in Giratina, they likely have a better answer Crobat in the back, right? So they might not even shield this, knowing they can still have another answer. So I'm just gonna Shadow Ball, hoping to take it out. And they don't shield. Really good. What do I come in with? It's a Nidoqueen's Religgy, a dark type, Scrafty. So it's pretty wild. They didn't shield there, to be honest. I guess they were really expecting a bait right there. Which actually, when I was doing this battle, and I threw that Shadow Ball, was kind of hitting myself in the head because I was really expecting them to shield, but they didn't. So I guess it was a really good call on my end. Farm down is Scrafty now, and at this point I think it's game over. I go for the Poison Fang right here, which honestly might have been an unnecessary risk, because if they don't shield this right here, I'm in trouble. But they shield it anyway. They go for the Shadow Ball and we take them out. So kind of lucky, I guess, with hitting the nukes and hitting the baits. But we'll take those. I'll take a win over Horrible Lead any freaking day. In comes a Froslass Lead. This is quite awful. I would have switched on 6 to catch the Avalanche. The thing is, I lagged for the first turn of the match, so I couldn't. Now I'm also 1 Vine behind, but again, I get lucky. I get the denial right here, so that means we're even again. Now I'm gonna try to switch again. It's 6 and then 6 for Avalanches, and the third is actually 5. So I'm gonna switch on the 6 right here. And we simultaneous swap, which is really unfortunate. I would have really loved to have my Tangrowth on this thing, so I can save my Typhlosion for the Froslass later. Now I'm kind of in trouble, because Typhlosion does lose to Deoxys, and, well, my Tangrowth and Crobat both lose to the Froslass. So, yes, I really can't use a shield right here, or the Froslass will just sweep me. So what I'm gonna do here is let this go. Maybe farm it down with Bat, since their attack has already fallen. Psycho Boost still has a chunk, though. Psycho Boost still has a really good chunk here. Luckily, it doesn't knock me out. I'm gonna farm it down. If the Froslass comes back in, I'll try to go for the... I should really go for the bait. Right? I think I end up Shadow Balling. I should really just go for the Poison Fang. The thing is, if they're weak to Crobat in the back, they're gonna shield here. And if they're not weak to Crobat in the back, I lose anyway. So I should have really just baited. Even if they no shielded, it would have been over anyway. So, you know, I should have really just baited. And now, what do they have? It is a Scrafty. And this game is gonna get quite close. I mean, you still have Crobat, which would have had a Poison Fang stored if I just baited, I think. Or it would have been a one-off. Can I get to the Power Rip, though? If I get to another Power Rip... Ooh, I barely don't. I really barely don't. Yeah, I would have had another Poison Fang here, and I think I might have been able to knock this thing out. So yeah, baiting the Froslass would have been my win con. Very close game, all things considered. Because we did have a really bad lead. Alright, Stunfisk lead is exactly where you want to see the Stunfisk. Tangrowth does beat it, though barely. But it's a quite nice matchup. It goes Mandibuzz. I really don't like seeing Mandibuzz, so I always just chip it a bit. with the Rock Slide from Tangrowth, which actually does decent damage. And then we bring in Crobat right here, just to keep Poison Fanging this thing. This is not an amazing matchup, but at least you can kind of chip it down. These Mandibuzzes are just so freaking tanky, you know. When you're not running all these XL Pokemon, you're just kind of lacking the bulk. So in neutral matchups, you usually do lose, which is unfortunate. But with a little bit of teamwork, you can definitely work around it. Throw on a Poison Fang. Luckily, they let the Mandibuzz go, which is quite nice. You don't have to use any shields right here. They bring in Stunfisk again, which is okay. But they can get a little bit of extra energy right here, which they did. And again, the Tangrowth Stunfisk matchup is not amazing. It's not amazing. The Rock Slides definitely add up. You need like 2 Power Whips and a bunch of Vines to knock them out. And they only need like 4 Rock Slides, 4 or 5 Rock Slides. Well, which is of course a lot, but in my experience, it's quite a close matchup. They bring in Drift right here. And I win this matchup. I win this matchup always. Even if they double bait Icy Wind. Even if they double bait Icy Wind, I win this matchup. I think I end up doing something really stupid right here. I call another Icy Wind, which I should not have done. I really should have just shielded. Even if it was an Icy Wind, they would not have gone into another Blast Burn. And now there's going to be able to farm me down. And probably throw a bunch of Icy Winds on my Tangrowth, which would not be great, because then I probably lose to the Stunfisk. So yes, one Icy Wind coming through, definitely shielding this right here. It would definitely do more than a Rock Slide from Stunfisk, so that's worth the shield. Gonna go for the Rocks, which I can't actually switch out. They bring in Stunfisk. Gonna go for the Power Whips right here. Maybe I can still win this, even though I'm debuffed. I'm gonna need 3 Power Whips though. 3 Power Whips. Actually, maybe Power Whip plus Farm Down will do it. We'll see. We'll see. Take 1 Rock Slide. Of course, yeah, it's only 3. Actually, only 3 Rock Slides from this range. I think he only needs like 4 total plus some mud shots to knock me out. Which, you know, they get to 3 within my 2 Power Whips. So a little bit of energy advantage, and Stunfisk actually beats Tangrowth, which is just crazy. You know, it's just the bulk from Stunfisk. All right, and this takes me out. So yes, I really should have just double shielded my Typhlosion. Even if the Icy Wind, I would have won. So that was just a necessary risk I took. But now you know. Now you know. If you have against a Drift Blim, just double shield it and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Even if they double bait, it's all good. It's all good. Alright, another Scrafty Lead. Like I said, there were a lot of these. There are a lot of these. I don't know why everyone was leading Scrafty. I really should have tried leading a Crobat, I guess. But Tangrowth can still deal with this. Gonna go for my Power Whip. This is just a Power Up Punch, which I will take. I can take it. And then we'll go for another Power Whip straight after this. This will knock it out or take a shield. Either one, fine with me. I just gotta hope there's no Stunfisk in the back, really. If there isn't, then Crobat and Typhlosion have a lot of play. Farm is down. They're gonna get to a foul play right here. This time I do shield it. Earlier in the video, I didn't shield it, but it did do a lot of damage, so rather shield it up. What do they have? A Deoxys, not amazing, because again, a Shadow Ball does not knock him out. So I could really go for the bait right here, but I'm expecting them to no-shield this, because it doesn't knock him out, but they do shield it. That's just a tough call though, because in theory, they don't need to shield, because it doesn't knock out. The only loose con, actually, that's actually basically their only loose con, shielding right there. Because if I Poison Fang and then Shadow Ball, then they're in trouble. So, kinda wasn't expecting the shield there. But it worked out for them, so it was a good shield, I guess. They come in Politoed, and this is just awful. Politoed in the back is quite bad. I should have really thrown my Poison Fang earlier, but I think this was the first time I had Politoed up against Crobat. And I was expecting both of their Weather Balls to knock out, so I'd rather get the big damage with Shadow Ball than only 1 Poison Fang. But apparently 2 Weather Balls don't knock out from there, so instead I'm just gonna go for the 2 Poison Fangs right here. If I would have thrown earlier, this Politoed would have been way lower HP though. Way lower HP, so yes, definitely just throw it early against this Politoed. But I can maybe still farm it down. They've switched out after 3 mud shots. It takes 4 for Weather Ball, though they might have over-farmed a little bit. If they have a Weather Ball right here, I definitely lose, because I won't be able to get, or I can't build up, I can't farm this Deoxys down. I'm just gonna have to Shadow Claw down the Politoed later, so it'll be quite close. If they have a Weather Ball, I lose. If they don't, I will Shadow Claw it down and they will die with the Weather Ball. This Psycho Boosts me again. I have to go for the Blast Burn, or they farm me down. This will knock out the Deoxys for sure, because it's very, very low. Can we farm down the Politoed? We can, and it is a great game. It's also a final game of the video. I hope you enjoyed this video. As you can see, you can do fine without XL Pokemon Ultra Remix, though I will say like it is a little bit harder, of course. It's definitely a little bit harder. These Pokemon just don't have the bulk that XL Pokemon have, so you're really gonna have to learn this team well in order to play it good in this XL meta and really start to play around with a matchup juggle between your Pokemon to make your opponent confused, and you can definitely do it. Alright, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.